But in saying and all that, I completely believe that they told us the truth. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but the thing is, what's very interesting there is that they live into obscurity in society, organization and all that, but they provide services. If we keep on they have clients, they provide services, and these services, as far as I know, the history of humanity, they were always provided, catered for. So it doesn't mean that there are no trauma associated to that, but I understand that we can split the question and say, well, let's see them. And the society thinks those services are fictitious at some point. We don't see the truth in face. You know, we tend to think that since we don't see it, we can forget about it. And it causes many problems for jurisdiction, or you know, precisely how we help these people and how they're socially recognized. So there is the issue of fiction. There is that the viewer is, if he rejects all that into fiction, then he's fooled. So you can. That's why there's a very strong ontological status, I would say, or you know, they are beings, they are there, and you have to care for them, because otherwise you're just wrong-headed, because you need to say it's fictitious, but it's like black and white and people talking, you know, very fluidly. It's really hard to make that up. Really hard.
Quality of their own, but they don't talk about the no quality or the other side. Really? That's what I understand?
Like most of us.
There's the fiction is not most about the non-dit.
The unsaid.
The unsaid.
well, because we asked them, I mean, the unsaid.
It's a positive relation.
The assumption, I think, in the piece is that we've heard so much about street-involved women. Like, you know, we hear about it all the time in the newspaper, or we see like horrible stories. We wanted to allow a different type of story to come out. One that, you know, painted these members of our community as really smart and having fabulous skills that help them live their lives, instead of painting them simply as, oh, poor woman on the street.
But I would say, I'm thinking about the difference between fiction, and I think that because of the structure, they constructed the story. And there was a power in them constructing the story based around their skills. And I'll say this because of the working with prisoners. And when I first went into the jail, I was told that they are so used to telling the same story. And it's a story of poverty, of, you know, all of that abuse. And that it takes quite a while to get past that, because they're trained, because they see the correctional officers, they see all these people, and they're like, it's an institutional structure to have a certain kind of story. In this one, we bypass that by framing the question as, what are your skills? So they started right off in naming it, and they had thought about it, and they talked about it with everybody and with the staff about, yeah, you know, I can talk about that. So it's not that it's a fiction, they're the same people, but they're constructing a different part of themselves. And it doesn't negate the other, it's just that they actually, and they were so excited about the fact that they got to position themselves as skillful.
And being able to teach us.
Yes.
But never been in that, never saw themselves in that position. But then in talking to them, there was often, oh yeah, I've taught all, you know, other women within the center the same skills. So they had taught people, but they never thought that someone outside their friend group would ask them to teach them. Especially a 6'5" bearded man.
Other questions?
We should probably run fairly soon. I'm just getting concerned with the time, because I've got a car that dies in 10 minutes. Or the parking on it dies in 10. I can run it and pay more parking.
Je vais la répéter en anglais. Juste d'un point de vue choisi ce parabole pour présenter votre projet? Why did you choose this gallery to present your project?
You can hear.
Apart from the fact that it was accepted, I mean, just
Yeah,
what
they wanted us here.
I mean,
That was really,
and do you have like you want it to be seen all through, I don't know, Canada, all through?
I mean, the audience is very important to me, and getting into audiences that aren't the centers of Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal, I find really rewarding. So I like showing at Sportable or in Newfoundland or along the East Coast, just because I find those conversations much richer and more exciting than ones that happen in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver. I mean, my work is also
More interesting.
way more
When you're
interesting.
off the centers.
Oh yeah. And people.
I think there's more political correctness in Toronto. Okay. So like I really value like all the positions that are coming forward because I think that's.
There's also, I mean,
I think it's
within.
more provocative in Toronto somewhere.
It's the opposite, I think. It's more provocative
Here?
off the center, so off the country.
Well, I also think, I mean, in smaller centers, the life between people who come to art galleries and people that don't come to art galleries is much thinner. Whereas in Toronto, it'll be the same, a couple hundred people that'll show up to the opening, and you won't get another community showing up because it's thought of as not part of their world. Whereas here, it's just down the street. I don't know, I assume it's all part of the world sitting around the table. Or last night there were people that were here that said this is the first time they've come to Sportable to see this show. So that's sort of the excitement I have in showing in smaller centers.
I also grew up in like, this was sort of home territory. I was like just on the other side of Montreal. So people would come here like, for holidays. So it was like.
We're just coming for a holiday. We just needed a reason to come for a holiday.
There's also something about the way it is presented, that we are all in a circle. You are not like higher talking in a microphone.
Yeah.
We actually really
hierarchy.
were across. We wanted to be like embedded with you, except that.
Our cameraman told us.
Because in some ways, that's the hierarchical issue. Is like, how do you construct a conversation so that it's not like we're the authority.
And I feel that we're well lit.
Yes, I do feel it.
I'm sure
We
Bob.
should be at that. But it's setting it up so that, that's a really good observation, that we didn't want. In fact, we got rearranged to be here. But it's really important to have that conversation so we hear like all the different voices. So what voices haven't we heard that have questions?
No, go on.
Not a question, it's only just a reflection I have towards this, all this malaise and hypocrisy around sex workers. And when we think about the borders of what is, how the intimacy can be public. When we look in our lives, we go to the psychologist, to the dentist, we talk about our very intimate life to people we don't know. But now when it crosses like the bodies, the inside, the private space becomes like, it's just an observation I make.
Do you mean in the work, like
In
the
the work.
intimacy of the conversation in the work? Is that
No,
what-
not
No,
about
shocking.
the conversation, but
Dentist and sex worker. We're
About
both
the-
intimate people. Right, yeah. I mean, it's saying that like we can have intimate conversations with many people, but we're still not allowed to have intimate conversations with a sex worker. Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you mean? Or?
no.
No. Okay.
Okay.
No, but maybe it's
Can you-
because there's the hypocrisy of not talking about sex workers and saying that they're doing something very strange. But actually in our lives, we're telling our lives to some people who are actually cleaning our teeth. And, you know, it's very some awkward relation with someone having his fingers in your mouth and saying, yes, I have 2 kids and I'm working at university. No, but that's a very weird and awkward moment. And I guess there are many awkward moments like that in the sex working. And that's a part of the thing that we refuse, but we are the same way, not in that particular respect, that we are telling our lives and actually going naked in front of people we don't know, actually, in some parts of our lives. So the sort of objectivity of your work shows that too, is that, yes, we could have a normal discussion with those people and actually tell our lives together and our own skills with them and all that. So it's very good for dialogue.
And you could.
Yes, well,
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want to ask us what we're doing next?
No, I don't want to ask you.
Well, like all of these projects, like, you know, so you've all been asking these questions. And so we've been looking at the questions that come after, and we decided that we'd construct a piece where we would like have an idea for a project, but we won't really do the project. We don't, it's not, like we want to get the questions out ahead of time so that the piece are the questions, because that's the missing link in all of these. So sort of what you've all said today about this. So we have a new one that's
It's an anti-project. So at the moment we're emailing colleagues and friends a one-line show proposal. Are we saying what the proposal is?
Sure, we might as well, because
Okay,
it might
we'll
give
start
you...
with you. You could be our friends and colleagues.
Yeah,
Can I get the wording right? Do you have the wording written down?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we are making artwork talking to people who have killed another.
That's it.
That's what we say we're
Yeah.
doing.
And then we've asked, you know, like, basically we're asking you to tell us, like, what should we be careful of? What should we think about ahead of time?
And this one.
Well, it
Is
came out of that.
specifically killing another human being, or
We just said another.
Just another.
Okay, just
So we get,
another.
and it's in some ways having it minimal information
Yeah.
so that we're not shaping it.
Okay.
So that, you know, like, people can think about what it means.
There will be fiction or?
The project's going to be completely what we get told from our emails or from what you tell us today. And then we will be responding to those in an artistic manner.
Yeah.
So we'll be either making videos, I assume we'll be making videos because that's what we like doing, but you know, we could be drawing, we could be taking photos, we could be making sculptures, we could be making a dance. I don't know.
But it's about making, we might.
Anyway.
But making visible the questions, because in this broader area of social practice, I think that's maybe what's missing is really addressing like all the things that we need to be aware of. So what should we be aware of? Or you can email us.
Yeah, email us please.
Aware
Yeah,
of
please send us an
regarding
email.
killing someone?
Not-
Yeah.
Or some.
Killing
like-
another.
Yeah,
Killing
another.
Killing
Another.
another.
Whatever that means.
Can be you.
Yeah.
Or.
could you repeat that?
An
Okay,
idea.
so it's,
No, it can be you.
yeah, we are planning to make an artwork in which we talk to people who have killed another.
And you want us to ask questions?
We want you to think about, tell us the sort of questions or problems or difficulties you would have in coming to a show like that.
Coming to a show or doing a show?
Coming to a show like that.
As a participant, like a.
As a viewer.
As a viewer.
As a viewer.
Okay.
But, or even, like, what should, or what should we, because, you know, assuming that we're going to do that, what would you be upset about us doing that? What would you ask us ahead of time?
Or even after, like,
Yeah,
you know.
like this, yeah.
On which
Telling a friend
website
I'm going
were
to a
you?
show where someone is saying, I've killed another,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's sort of like what we've just done, but it's instead of, 10 women, it's like people who have killed. So we've got surprising responses already.
Well, it doesn't relate to me personally, but I find that someone not that far from your main concept, like these days we've been hearing a lot about various, dramas, les faits divers, like this, well, sorry, I'm searching my words. Like this doctor who killed both his kids,
Yeah.
and the most, resurgent thing we keep hearing, in the general public is how we hear so much, or we are questioning ourselves so much about the motives, the implications, but also the context of that action, particular action, and people like, we never hear about people who have lost, and like hearing the loss.
So there would be crucial questions. What about the victim? What about the context? Like you've named, some of them right off. So it's from your experience, like, so are we forgetting about the victim? Are we,
It's something that I hear a lot.
So that's the kind of question that we want you to ask, like from your perspective. What are all the things that we need to just be aware of or think about?